There's not many female coaches in the NFL, especially, in the strength and conditioning realm.
Palms facing forward, 10 reps this way, 10 reps palms up.
I was pretty intrigued as to what she was going to bring to the table.
Grab here, we got banded shrugs, 20 reps, stay tall. Here we go, let's go. My name is Maral Javadifar, and I'm an assistant strength and conditioning coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good, light. Good job, baby. We're there to get these guys stronger, resilient, quicker, faster, and getting ready to grind on that field. 20 reps, CG. Let's go, let's go. Andre, keep it tight. Don't stick your chin out.
Asked Coach Arians if he would be okay with me going a different route, trying to bring somebody with a physical therapy background in that has a performance-based mindset, which would be relatively new for the NFL, and he was all for it.
Her qualifications were off the charts as far as what we were looking for in our sports science program. She has a sports background. She's a basketball player. She knows what a locker room's all about.
In my junior year, playing high school basketball, I tore my ACL. I went down, had it checked, and they were like, oh, it's all good. I said, Coach, put me back in. And I just took a step. I was all by myself, and I felt that thing go. I remember crying hysterically with my mom in the car. It was like a loss, and I was mourning. I was going through rehab, and the rehab process was slow, and it wasn't individualized or tailored to me as a person. It was that process and that experience that made me want to continue to pursue this and give other athletes and other people the opportunity to excel at their sport.
He goes toward the end zone, caught ball, touchdown Tampa Bay, Chris Godwin.
When I first met her, you can tell instantly, that she was as qualified as she needed to be or more.
I started out as an accounting major at Pace University and realized that there's no way that I could sit behind a desk and look at numbers. I decided to major in molecular biology. So then I went to New York Medical College to get a doctorate in physical therapy.
I think having a strength coach that has a background in sports medicine, I think it's pretty crucial just because they can approach things from a different perspective than your normal strength coach. A lot of strength coaches are kind of, meatheads, for lack of better words. They're just kind of coming at it from we're just gonna lift as much as we can and kind of like a cookie cutter mold. But I think she really understands the broad spectrum of, how we as professional athletes need to be developed and need to be worked on.
We got bench press today, so we're gonna go 4 by 2 to 3 reps, working between 75 to 80%, all right? When you first have a player come in, we'll do a number of assessments, and we have measurables that we're looking at. Force plates, how they're jumping, moving, how they're working on the field, and based on some of those, coming up with a way to maximize their potential on and off the field.
I think early on, some of the players were shocked with some of the different movement assessments and changes that she was able to make in the program. They didn't quite understand that her background was a little bit different. At the end of the day, the athletes just want to know that what you're doing for them, their best interest is in mind. And I think that they've figured that out really quickly with MJ. That's definitely what she's after.
1, 2, slow, 2 seconds on the way down. That's like 7 seconds, dude. 2 seconds on the way down. Hey, I don't want you overextending at your back. Keep your core tight there, got it?
Me and MJ, we're working on a bunch of different things. Isometric work, just trying to make my legs a little bit stronger individually so that as, when they come together collectively, I can move how I'm supposed to move, or where there's smaller things like mobility or, stretching to try to help me be more durable on the long haul.
It's caught ball, and this catch is made in the 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chris Godwin.
He's just a physical, tough wide receiver.
I think she understands that with different guys, you have to approach them differently, and I think that's kind of what makes her unique. Is with some of the bigger guys, she may have to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more vocal, but with some guy skill position guys, you may not necessarily have to do that.
Band behind your knee, 20 reps each side. Hey, next time hustle up after practice.
You can really only ask the athletes to do as much as they can recover from. There's just a lot of physical demand, mental demand on these guys, and at the end of the day, the basics are the basics. In their sleep, in their eating habits and their hydration habits. They really get the best bang for the buck.
Some of the players that I work with day in and day out, I have been able to read their face and their affect as they walk into the weight room. I look at them and I say, hey, how'd you sleep last night? And they're looking back at me and they're like, how'd you know? One, I can tell because I've been working with them day in and day out, and they're sluggish on the field. They don't move as efficiently or well. If we're not sleeping well, your body's gonna take that as a stressor. It doesn't matter what kind of stressor it is. The body is gonna send a signal to the brain and say, hey, there's a stressor going on. Your body's gonna respond in a heightened state. And so sleep allows you to control and minimize that process. So we find ways or have that discussion about how to. Decreasing the temperature in the room, watching how much you eat prior to going to bed, and different ways to control their sleeping habits.
All the recovery modalities in the world, none of that really matters if the sleep part is out of whack. So it's the way that their bodies are really going to recover from the day. Without sleep being like the base of all the foundation for our recovery, the athletes really don't stand a chance.
Barber up the middle, 3, 2, 1. He's got a Tampa Bay touchdown. Let's go, baby.
I typically reflect and write some of my thoughts for the day and then go back to it every so often. I have a note from 2016. It says, trust the process and believe that he put you in the right position to be successful. Embrace the moment, truly embrace it, believe and have faith. 2016. I grew up in Queens, New York. Both my parents came from Iran post-revolution, a country where women were not allowed to have freedom of choice. They're not allowed to wear certain clothing. They have to wear a hijab. They have to get permission from their father or husband to leave the country. They're not allowed to go watch a sporting event. For me to sit here today and speak about my journey, be working in the NFL with an organization who is so progressive and forthcoming, the reality is surreal to me at times. I'm grateful for my mom and my dad for sacrificing their life there, their family, and coming here to give their kids an opportunity to flourish and live the American dream. It's something that I think we take for granted here, and there's times that I have to remind myself that it could have been different. And then you go palms up and down. Keep the tension in the band. Don't overextend your back, keep it tight here. Good. Guys, once you're done with that, we got banded shrugs, come on. I think my coaching style and the way I connect with each of these players is to be genuine and authentic and be myself. I feel as if the guys have been receptive to that because I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. It's not about gender roles at all. I think when you go to an athlete and show them that you care and you can share knowledge with them or share something with them that's going to make them better and they believe and trust in that process, they're going to buy in.
Gender, race, it doesn't matter. If you can teach, you can coach, and those doors should be open.
As long as you can do your job at your highest level and the level that the organization needs you to do it at, you should have the opportunity to do so. To the young women and the young girls out there, I want them to know that they need to put in the work, put in the sweat and the grind, and sometimes the tears, and that's okay, to pursue whatever goal and dream that it is that they have. And even if it's a dream one day, which it was for me, it can be reality on another day.